Hey guys, welcome back. Today I just wanted to talk to you about some palettes that I think should be permanent, and I don't understand why they weren't. So, no ado whatsoever, let's do this. So I'm going to start with the drugstore side of things and then move to the higher end. First up is a palette from Covergirl, and it is one of their Katy Kat palettes. This is in the shade Hot Cat. These are surprisingly good little palettes. I do have the Cool Cat one as well, but it's this one. This should be part of their actual lineup. These shadows blend beautifully. They're buttery soft. They've got excellent pigmentation. The shimmers last all day. They're just fantastic little palettes, and I don't know why they wouldn't keep them around. Like, look at the shine on this one here. And those matte shades are beautiful. It performs like a freaking dream. And I have to say, the other one, I'll dig it out just for the sake of comparison, but the Cool Cat one has some really unique shade options in it that you don't see very often in the drugstore. So there's a nice iridescent sort of blue kind of shade going on here. It's a little bit of a duochrome. My hand is still wet, but you don't see those kind of shades a ton. While we're at it, we may as well swatch a few others. So there's a nice iridescent purple, a shimmery almost cranberry kind of shade, a matte pink, and then like a nicely foiled rose gold there. So these are fantastic little palettes. This one I think definitely should be a staple in their lineup because it is so user-friendly and so sort of consumer-friendly, if you will. This is one that a ton of people could reach for over and over again, and it's just intuitive in terms of what you do with it, and I think they're fantastic. Next up are some palettes from Wet n Wild, and these are going back 3 years maybe? I'm not sure. And they are the Color Icon eyeshadow palettes, the ones with 6 shades in them, and I've got a whole selection of them here. So we have the Vinyl collection, which are nice neutral tones here. And I'll swatch a few of these for you as well. These again are just buttery smooth, and they're so lovely to work with. There's a few of them anyways. And these palettes, I can't remember off the top of my head how much they retail for, but I'm gonna say they're around like the $5 Canadian mark, which it just kind of blows my mind the value that you get there because the quality of these is way more than $5 for a palette. The other ones that I have are a little more unique, I suppose you could say. So this one is Embrace Obscurity. But I love that it's something totally different for the drugstore. Like, you don't see a lot of these kind of shades, the brighter blues and the purples mixed in there. And again, the quality of them is fantastic. There's some of those ones, and then last up is Vegan Culture. And there are the shadows in there. And again, just something different. You don't see a lot of mint greens that perform this well, a true silver. There's just some beautiful shades in there, and they all work cohesively with each other. Which one didn't I do? There's the silver. So, I mean, Wet n Wild does put out a ton of palettes, and I guess that's probably why they don't make everything permanent, but these ones, these are pretty awesome. I really think that Wet n Wild should do like a larger palette release maybe once every few years and have it be like the best of, and that way if you missed out on some of these limited editions because they come and go so quickly, you may find some of those hidden gems in that larger palette. Wet n Wild, take note. I think that would be a fantastic idea. I would buy that, that's for sure. So that rounds it up for drugstore, and then I have 3 more palettes to talk about. One of them is from Kat Von D. I feel a little conflicted about that because I am very upset about this whole vaccination thing, but I already have it. The money is already spent. I may as well talk about it. This is the Divine palette. I have to give kudos where they are due. This is a fantastic palette. It is so beautiful. It's so different. The freaking metallic shades are gorgeous. The mattes perform beautifully. I do have a standalone review of this palette, and I'll stick it up in the cards in case you're interested in it. I believe right now it's still on sale on the sale section of the Sephora website, at least in Canada it is. And it's down to, I think, $27.50. Go and get it. I hate to say that because I'm really fucking mad at her, but it's a fantastic palette. Here are some of the shades here. Like, they fucking blow my mind. They're so good. And I'm not always super big on Kat Von D. I did get the 10th anniversary palette and then I returned it because it wasn't something that I was going to end up reaching for over and over again. I liked the performance of it. I just didn't like the selection of shadows. But this one, while it is unique and not necessarily something that everyday average consumers, whatever, are going to reach for, it is so good. I love this one. I freaking hate Kat Von D, but I love this one. Urban Decay Electric Palette. This thing is freaking iconic, and if only for that reason, they should be keeping this in their permanent lineup. Where else are you going to find a palette with such vibrant shades in it? These are just, I mean, like I said, it's iconic. This palette, I don't even know when it came out. This is one of the very first, like, high-end kind of palettes that I bought. I think it was the chocolate bar palette first and then this one. But holy crepes, it is so good. Like, obviously it's not my everyday go-to, but when you want to play with color, this is the way to go. And I think more brands need to do this kind of thing. Like, when I talk about colorful eyeshadows, or when I'm looking for colorful eyeshadows in my collection, I notice that it's typically indie brands because I guess maybe they just have more creative freedom than brands that may have like a board of directors or whatever. But I wish that brands weren't so timid when it comes to colors. Tarte is my sort of go-to that I like to pick on. I like Tarte shadows, but I'm fucking bored as hell of the like 15 brands that they've put out that they just keep recycling. Step outside the box. Go for it. Just put your head down, throw out some wild ass colors, and just see what happens. Because it just, there is a market for it. There is. And if you compare good quality shadows with bright ass colors, I guarantee people are going to snatch that up. Maybe not everybody. Maybe it's not going to sell as much as like a Tartelette palette or the chocolate bar palette or whatever. But go for the bright colors. At least one palette that people can get their hands on and just throw some oomph into the brand. Indie brands have it down pat. I have a ton of indie brands, whether they're single shadows or in palettes, where it's just bold, vibrant colors. They perform beautifully. But I think mainstream brands need to do that, and Urban Decay, I think you made a mistake in discontinuing this one. I think this should be permanent in your lineup. Those are my thoughts. The last palette that I want to talk about just purely mystifies me on a number of levels. It is the Gemini palette from Melt, and I have talked about this in a few videos now, but I'm going to trot it back out and talk about it some more. So, first of all, they released it in June. Nothing about this screams early summer makeup. This is autumn in a palette, at least in my opinion. This is sweater weather, this is hot chocolate by the fire, this is not a June release. I get that it's called the Gemini. I fully understand that. I get that Gemini is, June. I am a Gemini myself. But maybe call it Libra or something and let it go in September. I'm sure it has something to do with the owner's birthday or some shit. I don't know, but it's just it's a weird palette. I don't really get the release timing of it. But aside from that, it's fucking gorgeous. It is, while being neutral, it is unique. Like these shades down here, you don't find them very often. You might get an olive green, like this one here, if you're lucky, but very rarely you're gonna get a metallic olive. You can't even really find this like deep mustard shade in many palettes, or this like light rusty orange. I'm gonna swatch them, I'm looking at it, but it is absolutely beautiful. There. I mean, talk about high quality shadows. These things blend themselves basically. And those foiled shadows are just gorgeous. And they last all day. And they're beautiful. And they're eye-catching. And they're different. And I really like that they're different. But this thing sold out in a hot minute. They amped it up so much in terms of their teasing of the palette, because they, on their Instagram, they would like release one shadow and then have a couple of looks featuring that shadow. And then they'd release the next one. So it took a long fucking time to go through all these shadows and release them, and then it was limited edition and it sold out in no time, and they're not restocking it. So why all the fucking hype? Like, I don't understand that. Or if you're gonna hype it that much, have more stock. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I think the same thing happened with the 27 palette. I don't have that one. It just didn't really speak to me the same way this one did. And again, I've mentioned it before, I have to thank my best friend Erin for picking this up for me for my birthday, because I was going to pass because it is a pricey little number. But I don't understand why you would hype it up so much if it is going to be an exclusive release that's going to sell out really fucking fast. I don't get that. This, I have one of their stacks, and the stacks are good, don't get me wrong, but not as good as this. And I mean, to have a palette where you have a multitude of looks right there. Yes, they're all going to be on that same sort of fallish autumn theme or whatever, but you can mix and match all these. Like, while it looks sort of orange here, green here, they all work so well together. So there is actually a good amount of versatility in this palette. Why the fuck would they not keep it permanent? This thing is beautiful. Anyways, those are my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts. What palettes do you think should have remained permanent? Please let me know down below. Let's have a little chit chat about that kind of thing. And that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. All right, bye for now. Could have done all of this before I hit record. Oh well. Hey guys, welcome back. There we go. I don't know what those noises were. This is about as autumnal, holy fuck,